Woo! All right. Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say it is a lovely evening in which the Most High Yah has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall bless her in. Hallelujah! 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 Ahaya! Ahaya! Hallelujah! Let me tell you all, I went into the store to work and I was so tired and so drained. I said, oh, I'm going home and I'm going to lay down. And I'm not one to take a nap, which I really need to. But I was so tired. I laid down. And I think I laid down for about 4 hours. And it felt really relaxing. It felt really good. So I got up and decided to get onto YouTube. And when I got on YouTube, this is one man. I didn't get the name. I didn't get his information. I was just drawn to hear what he had to say. And I sat and I listened to probably, if not, 4 or 5 sentences of his message. And it was like, hey, wait a minute, Father. Yeah, wait a minute, Father. Yeah, wait a minute. What you doing here? Let me tell you what he did. He shared this message with me so that I can get some sort of how would I call it comfort and assurance that all of the men that's out here, even though it's 99.9, I know that's a high number, but if you want me to speak spirit and truth, I got to go where the truth is. 99.9 now are going in a way that's so wicked and evil. And being so it's finished, I'm like saying, okay, I know they're doing this and it's getting higher and higher and higher. He said, no, it's not getting higher. He said, you change that. Change that thought. It's where I told you it was. It is finished. So it's remaining right there. It seems like it's going higher and higher because now you got the fullness of truth that it ain't going nowhere. Hallelujah. So that led me to believe that, okay, because yesterday when I got on YouTube, all these men are talking and they didn't flip the scriptures and the Bible and turn the word so deep. I said, what is this, Father? What is this? I know it's finished. I know, but they getting worse and worse. He said, no, they're not, Deborah. They where they supposed to be because it's finished. The finish is letting you know it's not going to get better. Only way it's going to get better the way you think. That you're going to live the rest of this day, this time out, the way you think. So he said, come on here. You're here to endure. So know that these things in which you see need be. So don't try to go on a deep end as if I'm going to come and change the way they talking, the way they walking, the way they hearing, the way they thinking. No, I'm not, Deborah. It is finished. And you know that. So I was like saying, okay, it is what he said that it is. And I say that to myself every day, you all. And you all might not believe this. I've been saying it for a long time. It's the way that he said it is. It is to remind me at all time that he has it all in control. He know what he's doing. All I have to do is go to his bosom and rest my head there and let it be. Let it be. That's what he was talking about. Give me all your strength, your mind, your heart, and your spirit. It's mine anyway. Give it to me. Come rest it on the Father's bosom. So I tend to do that a lot because I see it's nowhere else to rest my head. I can feel Yeshua when he said, I have no place to rest my head. Really, honestly, you really don't. If you think for 1 minute the flesh on this earth is a place where you can go, where you can rest your head. No, only way, or only place is the bosom of higher. That's it. You can't rest your head nowhere. Not on mama's bosom, not on daddy's or father's bosom as your natural father. You can't rest your head on a friend, your husband, your wife, your children. You better rest your head on the bosom of the Most High God. Hallelujah. So today, I mean, you all, I cannot, it was so heavy in what I heard out of their mouths. It is so important that you rightly divide when you trying the spirit by the spirit. You must recognize that spirit. Don't go back to that spirit thinking that spirit saying something any different. Know that that spirit is the spirit of what it has said today. Meaning, Sister Deborah, going back to the bosom of the Father, he said it's finished. I received it. It's finished. So Deborah, don't look for these people to change, for it is finished in me. Who rumbled this thing? Who ruled this thing? Ahaya. So what makes me think that in the year 2022, there's coming to be a change? He have already sealed. From Genesis to Revelation, he sealed it. He said he's not going back in there and switching nothing over. It is what it is. If they turned around and how would he say it? Lie on Deuteronomy 28. That's on women, children, boys and girls, and other men. That's on them. I put it straight. They put it crooked. He said, Deborah, I gave it to them straight because they took it and they broke it and turned it all kind of ways and then fed it to the people. That's on them. It's still standing the way I said. So if they don't understand what's going on in this world, Deborah, so what? They ain't going to. And that's where he has shared with me last week. Why do you think I let Isaiah minister to your spirit? Why do you think I let Ezekiel minister to your spirit? Why did you know? How did I let Jeremiah minister to your spirit? Furthermore, you know Solomon was ministering to your spirit. How could that be if it wasn't for me? They were preparing you to embrace it is finished. It was finished with them. They called it out. They called it out. That's why Solomon began to say, wait a minute. In all vain and vast. Solomon didn't start off saying that. He ended up saying that. Because it's a place where once everything that you have been missioned to do have been fully accepted in the bosom of the Most High God, all you now do is sit and endure it. But in the process of sitting and enduring, you embrace the will of the Father. So what? What is evil. He was the potter of both clay. He know how he formed one, he say, to do this, and he formed the other one to do this. But all of it is in his own lump. That means it's in his hand. He rules. So embracing that and saluting that and accepting that comes with the form of endurance. So let me tell you what happened. When I came home, I went to sleep. I woke up and I fixed me something to eat, and I decided to look at, sit down and watch YouTube. So happened, this man was on there, and I said, who is this? I ain't never seen this person. Let me just key in. See, I don't base it on numbers, y'all. Because the lower the numbers, the more spirit of who they are that rests therein. See, it was always the narrow gate, y'all. Or I shouldn't have said that. I should have just left it alone, let people do as they please, but which they shall. But that's what a lot of people didn't know. So even though this man don't have a lot of subscribers and a lot of likes, that's the last thing I look at. Hear this man on here, he seemed like he just sitting back and he's teaching. I had no idea he was a pastor until he said it. And I sit here listening to it. You all, I think I heard, if it was 4 sentences, probably not even that many. An instant, I went to telling him, flesh and blood didn't reveal this to you, but a higher revealed this unto you. It's no way that man could have said the things he said. And I'm going to leave it in the what is it, the area of my page, so you can go and look. No, tell you what, I'm not gonna do that, because I videoed about 30 minutes of him speaking, and I'm gonna upload it after I'm off of live, and you all enjoy it, embrace it, because when he see, this is where you know that you're not alone in this, even though you feel that you are. This is where you know that Yeshua HaMashiach, which is the world calls Christ, and it is called Christ, is a body. Y'all made a body up, and HaMashiach is the head. So in this body, he has all that he needs, all that he wants. You see, all that he approved, sealed, and delivered. So, understanding that there is a body, you know that you're not the only one. It's just feel good to run up on somebody that can speak the messages or speak something your ear heard in the wilderness. This man give you the best way of putting it. He did it so simple, so easy. I mean, the way he spoke, it was like, but Father, yesterday all the one I was hearing, he said, see, Deborah, see, even though 99.9 is going to live by the sword that coming after him, but see, I got mine. Listen to him. So I listened to that man. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. And pretty much he's saying the same thing that the Ruach HaKodesh has taught me in the wilderness. And it's regarding women. So I'm going to cover a little more of it is finished, but I'm going to wrap it up also to really tell men and women what is going on is many have deceived. That was one of the biggest, how would I say it? The biggest evil that has hit the earth is being deceived. It didn't just start being deceived with Adam and Eve. It is being deceived in the year of 2022 by your own. You can be deceived by your mother. You can be deceived by your father. You can be deceived by your own best friend. You can be deceived by your wife. You can be deceived by your husband. You can be deceived by your children, your grandparents. Don't estimate that being deceived has to come from an area in the desert somewhere. No, it's right before you. So when he took me to Deuteronomy, I learned that they turned this book upside down. They lied. Had they taught Deuteronomy 28 the right way, the people would have been able to bounce off of Deuteronomy and go up under Isaiah, go up under Ezekiel, go up under Jeremiah, and all Ecclesiastic, all the prophets. You could go up under, and they have been saying the same identical thing that Deuteronomy was saying. How did we not see that if you go into captivity, how can you go into, okay, let's set an example. How can you go into a prison and control it? Can you walk up in the prison, be there for, let's say 10 years and rule and run it? The rules and regulations that's in this here prison, you got to abide by it. It has to go their way. What Ecclesiastic is Yah's way. And the prison was a prison that we were cursed. So not only did we go into captivity, we were cursed on going into captivity from the beginning and never coming out. You're not coming out of the prison a free person. You're not coming out of prison running it, being a king, a leader, a ruler. You're not coming out of prison because you got a church sitting out in no man's land and you got land and food and crop and y'all out there. You're not coming out, because doing that and having that mindset is saying, I'm going to defeat Deuteronomy 28. Everything Isaiah said, Ezekiel said, Jeremiah said, in Ecclesiastes, the prophet there, every prophet Yah has sent to warn a nation of people. I'm going to override what was said that should happen to us because of what we have done. So 99.9 on this devil platform has lied about the biblical word. Can they do that? Yes. Anybody can take the book, the Bible, and they can make it what they want to make it. Have not they done that? How many denominations do you have? How many different churches? How many different beliefs holds that same book in their hand, but yet believe in something totally different? Why? Because they have went into the book and they have switched everything in it that is spirit and truth and converted it so that it may fit in to their religion and what they want to believe. Okay? So when you go into this, you have to understand no power in the earth, under the earth, could have allowed a book to be able to survive, and the only book on the face of the earth that has survived so long. Why? That book also was given to many. Many took it and converted it and said, it says this, it says this, it says this. How could one book that speaks of one man, one creator, one Holy Spirit, how could it be converted? Probably 3 million times. No, let's say 1 million different ways. And it's saying only one thing. That should lead you to understand that anybody that's taking this book and leading you, do not follow them nor the book. The greatest thing about the Messiah, the greatest thing, the Father told all the disciples. Well, who was in there? Who else was in among the disciples? There were females among them. To do what? Tarry here. They don't want to talk about that. The men won't talk about, wait a minute. But Peter said, not Peter. Paul said women and wait a minute, hold up. The day of Pentecost, Ahia had women in there praising him and singing and giving him glory for what? Waiting for the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, to endow himself into them. Was there females? Hold on. Was there females? Wait a minute, Paul, come on back. Because they twist Paul's words as they did in time past. Every denomination, if there's a million different denominations coming from one book, and they all million has a different interpretation or a different meaning or a different this and a different that, does not that tell you who can bring this book into one? Who can tell me who can bring this book back into where it was developed? Who can bring it back into one? Who can bring this book back into your unity? Who can bring this book back into understanding? Who can bring this book back into wisdom? Who can bring this book back into understanding? Knowledge. Who can do that? Nothing but the Ruach HaKodesh. So all these million of people that has million of denomination, they can't bring that book into one. Only the Ruach HaKodesh. The only one that has been charged to bring us and to teach us all things. How did we give such a great power to a man? He said, put your trust in no man. But we said, no, we need something we can see and believe. We need someone we can hear and believe. We put our trust, our strength, our mind, our hearts into a man. And look where it's at. In the midst of being finished. It is finished. Only the Ruach HaKodesh, just like the day of Pentecost. The way that he came in like a rushing roaring wind. He knows what he's doing, but we have made him alive so we may follow behind a man. Okay? So, to say this, we have taken Deuteronomy 28. You're not coming out. The message that I gave where I says the tribe of Judah, something wrong with him up here, there seriously was. But see, the father had YouTube to have to shut me down. They didn't shut me down on one video. They shut me down on two. And the Most High shut it down and said, now, you come on here. I'm going to take you in the deep woods of the wilderness. You come and go with me. Non-stop, y'all. Throughout the day, non-stop. Just revealing things to me, just talking to my spirit. Just talking to my spirit. And according for the Most High to be able to have that will to want to talk to you like that, you got to shut your ugly mouth. You got to shut your mouth and know that he is all that and some. You got to salute every choice he makes. You got to honor and respect his decisions and what he stands for. Whether it hurts you, it breaks you, it bends you, you so what? You salute him in the name of a higher. No matter what. Give, take, no matter what. Salute him. Because know that he is who he is. So I'm all up in the wilderness and I'm like, okay. And he taking me all in the deep woods. Why in the deep woods? Because what he was showing me, the wilderness wasn't deep enough. He had to take me in the woods of the wilderness. And he showed me things that I knew, but it broke through what even I knew. Because it brought me to what I was speaking. And he said, oh, that those things in which you say unto them is in you from me. You give it unto them as parables. Because I give the truth to my disciples. But the parables are given to the multitude. You are giving them the parables. Because hearing, they really don't hear. Seeing, they really don't see. But he that is on this platform, that is elect, can hear. And they can see what Sister Deborah is saying. You see? Throughout the parables. They know the word that rests within the parables in which Sister Deborah is speaking. When I say the tribe of Judah is gone here, look what he showed me. In Deuteronomy, he said, Deborah, I told them that they're going to be destroyed. And they all the 400 years in whatever time they there until they are destroyed. So when Sister Deborah seeing all this stuff that the children are supposed to be, the Hebrews are doing, especially the men, I'm sitting here hooping and hollering and trying to figure out, well, why are you letting them do? He said, look, come up here. I'm taking you to the deep woods. Come on up here. Let me shut you off. Come on here. So I gets up there, and that's what I come to understand. That Deuteronomy has been sliced into pieces. How many times have I taught you it was sliced into 3 pieces? But the Ruach HaKodesh taught me it was sliced into millions of pieces. Lies, he's speaking of. The things that they've said. I heard a man yesterday, and let me tell you what he was talking about. He said Eve had sex with the serpent, and she had his first child. And Adam was somewhere else off when Eve was tempted by the serpent, and the serpent had sex. So when Eve came onto the scene, she gave it. She fed him his mind. She fed it in his mind, and he did accept it. What did she feed in his mind? Sex like she had with the devil? See how silly they sound? You should have seen how this man degraded a woman. When people tell you a woman don't have the image of Yah, that is Satan himself. He has the power to speak out of people who are leading the multitude in great numbers. But it's finished, Deborah. Yes, it is. That means it's no holding back. That means you go and judging like you don't have eyes to see and ears to hear. Just go in and start judging them, speaking against them and what they're saying. Leave them no room. Why? It's not going to change them. But righteous have to stand somewhere. It can't be buckling up saying, okay, they all them saying this. Oh, I got to get away from this. Oh, they saying this and all. No, it's time to stand strong and let what overrides darkness, which is light. When the beginning and of the Bible, when he said there was a mist of darkness and the spirit of Ahiah went across the dark water, what did you see? Darkness had to bow down to the fact that light was shining upon it, whether you know it or not. Light is more powerful than darkness. But because so many have, and it is finished, given darkness the overall, understand this greatest news. Don't follow nobody. You don't have to dress away. You don't have to look away. You don't have to act away. You don't have to walk away. You don't have to talk a certain way. It's finished, y'all. All of that would be is you in the circus with all them clown clothes. Why? Because if Deuteronomy says until we are destroyed, how are we preparing the way man said the Bible says? And Yah has already put the charge, the curse, 400, longer than 400 years now, 400 years ago. The curse is still there. He never said the curse would be up in 400 years. He would be finished the 400 years. But the thing, notice everything's still going. You know why? They lied about that too. That's why you're still in captivity. That's why you're still where you at. And you see what they're doing is going back to what it used to be, lynching and everything else. Killing and getting away with it big time. Why? It's showing you 400 years gave you, that's if you really think about it, that's a blessing to give us 400 years to look and pick up a book or to remember something of our forefathers. We took on this thing about awakening and a newfound weeder. And what have we become? Evil in the midst of us saying, we the people, weeder. We have took on evil in the midst of saying, we the people. You see? We are to be destroyed. It even said we are to be crushed. They're talking about mind-wise. Why we won't be able to unite is because we crushed, we destroyed here. Why is it the men has a level of hate that measure beyond perpetual hate of the heathens? Because we are crushed. You see, the heathen ain't crushed. We are. Our mind. Why do we have a lot of people in mental health? Why do we have a lot of men in prison? If you think for 1 minute a lot of them men is in there innocent, the Most High, if he can show you a film, you talk to somebody who worked in the prison system. I train in maximum and a minimum prison system, and also for men. I've worked in the prison system to where I was questioning asking the warden, "What's the deal? You got a women prison, and then you got these man prison, and then you got the max." I'm working in both the max and the minimum of men. Why y'all don't let these women come cook in the kitchen with us? If you all saw the things and the things that the women were doing, it was off the chain. What they were doing. They did not want the women near that food, even in the prison. I always question that, but it was something they have done for years. They never allowed the women in the prison, so I had to train men. So I don't let no man take me nowhere, because Yah, a higher has taken me to where he is and where he resides. You don't need to hear they lies. You weren't created to be deceived, Deborah. That's the only reason why you up in the wilderness. And I had to take you all up in the woods. Because you're human like many that's here. But you have been chosen. I told you you were branded for my name's sake. So I'm saying to you all, I'm not gonna hold you long. Somebody said something and they went up against whatever you said, and they call themselves taking it off. You see how they listening to every word that's even on the live chat. They interfering with. You see what I'm saying? But let me tell you all something. This man, after I shut down here, I'm gonna upload that video before I leave, because I'm gonna have to leave pretty soon, so you all can have a treat for tonight. Hear what he has to say. I want so bad to subscribe. Sister Deborah ain't going there. Sister Deborah is not going there, because I'm going to stick with the wilderness where the Ruach HaKodesh teach me therein. But this man speak it the way I have learned it throughout life. And I just think I do. I give all glory, not to the man, but to the Most High, Ahaya, because it's no way in the world, it's no way that he can come that close to me and give me someone else that's speaking spirit and truth. I just thank him for that. I thank him for that. So I didn't get the whole video, because he was on it for an hour and something, but I'm going to sling it. I'm going to bring it, post it on my page, and I'm going to put it. I wanted to put it to the men of Straightway so that it can get over, but it doesn't make any difference where I think I'm gonna say something else, because like he said, it's finished. You can't tell the men nothing. It's off the chain. And what made me feel good about what this man was saying, he said he went on to a Facebook the other day, and he's been going on to Facebook for a minute. And hold on for a minute. My son might tell me I don't have to come. Hello. I come pick him up. No, but then you have something to do? Yes. Good. You gonna pick him up? 8:30. You sure? You all, this is my son Joseph. I'm on live. Okay, babe. Thanks. Uh-huh. Oh, see there, he's going to pick up Charles from work for me. Oh, that is so nice. So I can be on here a little bit longer. I'm not gonna hold y'all long, but but let me tell you what this man did. I just listening to him, it did something to me, because it showed me that the heart of men are wicked by 99.9. But I always told you, Deborah, I have a ram in the bush. The prophet that went taking off running because the Jezebel had sent out that they kill all the prophets, and yes, they had killed many of them. And he was running, and he was all up in the cave and everything, and telling the Most High that they have killed all the prophets. He said, He told him how many he had. So hearing this man, I was like, oh, look at how he said it. Everything he's saying is so plain, so simple. Yeah, he come through scriptures, but the way he come to the scriptures is not a lot of scriptures, but the way he come, he corrects it and make you see where you missed it. He let you see where you misunderstood what Yah was saying. He's talking to the men. He's telling them, you lied. You misunderstood. You didn't understand the scriptures. And he point the word. See, one word can show up and show out and make a person whole message be a lie. And this is what he was doing. He was pointing out scriptures that's one sentence and pour one word, and then you wonder, well, how did they get that then? What did they get? So I just thank the Father, because I'm going to tell y'all something. Sister Deborah is in the body of Hamashiach, but I am not the whole body. I'm just a pin needle. Have you ever seen the tip of a pin needle? When that's Sister Deborah, that's Sister Deborah. You see? And there's many that's in the body. When I see him, that lets me know that he is in the body too, because he can't talk the way he's talking and not be in the body. So you see, and this is what got me. Listen to this. I told you yesterday, I was on YouTube and I heard all these males, and a lot of these young males too, and a lot of these older males. They got this here. Y'all should see the things that they coming up with. If y'all don't see it, that's on y'all. And I like what he was saying, because he was telling the women, you got some serious issues. This man, he was telling the women, y'all got some serious issues to sit up and believe. And then he went into Paul, he went into Peter, and he said, now, and he broke it down exactly the way I knew it. You want to accept Paul only when he said what you think is for you. But let's accept Paul all the way through. Now, that's the truth. That's why the Hebrew Israelite men dropped Paul. Now they don't believe none of Paul's writing. Y'all don't know that, but they don't. A lot of them don't believe Paul's writing no more, because in spite of them taking out what they want, Paul been saying something to them all along. And it would counteract everything they have ever said. So now they finding out, wait, we don't believe in Paul. So he said, I tell you what, we brought Paul, now I'm finna bring Peter. Peter walked with him. Now you ain't gonna believe Peter either? They didn't have no way out. And he said it. I mean, it's in there. When he said it, I was like, see there, that's why you build up a body with all administrative position. He built a lot of people used to call it the fivefold. It's real, y'all. And because people have gotten away from the body of Hamashiach, that's why they all up in all camps and all in all these churches, and these women all in all this cult and all this other mess, because they got away from the body. Women, and he even said that he's talking, no, he didn't say this, but I'm saying something similar to what he said, is the women have to open their eyes and see they were the only one that would worship. That's why there was a lot of women in the church, even to today, and all these other things they have. When they have them, he said, when you finish looking, who's going to override all the men, all the women? And he just sitting here saying, you're training them to believe you, and you're the leader, and you're the ruler. You won't find that in scriptures. And he said something like, I've also spoke to you all about it several times. In the beginning, he said, let us is Christ. Christ is the right hand power of Yah. Okay? That's his right hand. That's his stretched out arm. That's Christ. Okay? He said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. Never let no one tell you the image of man, of the image of Yah looks like a man. Don't you let nobody tell you that old sick mess. Ain't nothing that's on the outside of the flesh of man is the image of Yah. The outside of a man and a woman is sin. The image that rests therein is Yah. They gained a spirit like unto Yah's spirit. He gave them a spirit. That's the image that he gave man. He didn't say men, men. He said male and female. Where these people are teaching it now, what everybody needs to do is boycott the whole house of Israel. Boycott all these camps, all these high-level striving and praise to these men. Shut them down. It's finished, y'all. You want to keep riding? You go right ahead into the deepest deep can get. They need to shut them down. They need to shut the whole house of Israel down. On all four corners, shut them down. Shut them down. And bring it to a level where only the light is being spoken. Then it'll overpower all the darkness that ain't going nowhere. But if light still in the midst, we should be overriding all that darkness and letting the light shine. Then he said, we are a light that's set up on a hill. Come on now. Come on now. What happened to that light? We down in the valley. We down under the ground and letting the darkness stand on the hill. How sick is that? Sicker than sick. There's people who so rooted in wicked and evil, they would come on this platform a minute, and when they hear something that they have not heard, or they feel that it's against what they have been taught, they flee. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. True light is for those who come and go and flee. That's what he said the devils were supposed to do. That's his mission. Is to take off when he knows spirit and truth and light is being spoken. So this man was saying something that was so powerful, because when he began to say everything that I have been trying to get you all to see about what the men are doing, I'm hearing him saying in this day, he just did this video a day ago, I think it was. And he's sitting here saying that they're tricking you all. All of what they're doing is lying. And he began to show you and tell you. And this is what they're saying. And they take in Genesis and how, you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. One book I will stay away from if I do not have the Ruach HaKodesh, and that is the book of Genesis. Genesis don't play, y'all. Genesis show up and show out. Even Genesis shut the whole world down in Noah. Genesis in the world. Y'all in the world in the book of Genesis, and told you why. Still had to do with men. M-E-N. You see? No one wants to understand spirit and truth. Everybody wants to believe the lie. Everybody wants to stand on what is dark. It's finished. Stand on the tallest mountain that has midnight at the tip. It's all well. But don't forget, if he tell his prophetess, you're going to have to endure, what do you think he's saying to you? Huh? You think you're going to be able to endure it if you ain't got the spirit or the gift of endurance in which he gives his? And if you ain't got that spirit, you up mess creek, and creek is up your mess. Because if you don't have what it takes to endure, which is a gift from him, you in some heap of some trouble. I mean, some real trouble. So to say this, as I was listening to this man, I realized he cut so deep. He said so many men came after him. I said, praise the Most High. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to come on Sister Deborah Page. Nobody bothers me. Even those who think they know things by scriptures, they go running and throwing their verses up there. Baby, your verses don't mean nothing. See, one thing you have to been in that wilderness and taught by the Ruach HaKodesh, not by scriptures, not by verses. Because the Ruach HaKodesh, when it come on the scene, the verses have to bow down. You understand? You understand? Even the verses of King James have to bow down. Why? Because the Ruach HaKodesh is Yah himself. Why is it we think that the book is higher than Yah? What heart is in that book? What spirit is in that book? Those are words. Many words are inspired, but it does not override my Father. It does not override my Father. He uses the book to give us some guidance. Why? Because we believe in seeing and believing. So when he's teaching us, he knows that he's a spirit and he's teaching us in spirit and in truth. But I want to give you a little something you can see that I left. Go here and you can see what I'm talking about. And he's going to take you exactly in that book where he is inspired. The word that he has in there that's inspired, that support what he's telling you in the spirit realm and what he's teaching you in the spirit realm. The book was never to be a chastiser. It was only to guide you as an individual. It never says study it to teach others. Study it and preach it to others. It never said. It says study to show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth. Hold up. Right there is the answer. You hear that? Rightly dividing. What? Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Rightly dividing? You mean something got to be divided? Yes, Deborah. You got to divide the spirit of truth from what is not truth. Only way you can do that is through the Ruach HaKodesh. You see? You didn't hear them people in Torah carrying the Bible, quoting verses. See, y'all lost. These men have gotten these people so far deep that they're not going to find their way to dry land. The curse require, the Father, Yahweh has required that the curse destroy the people here. And that's what has happened. We are destroyed. We destroyed in wisdom. We destroyed in knowledge. We destroyed in understanding. We destroyed in give and gave. We thinking it's love. We destroyed in who Christ is. We don't know that's the right hand and the stretched out arm, the power of Yah. It says that Yeshua didn't come with just word. He came with what? Why didn't Yeshua have what he needed when he came? Why didn't Yeshua just have it? Oh, no, don't rumble that way. He came with what? He came with power. That's that right hand, which is Christ. That is Emmanuel with us. So it's a lot of things that it's not worth even teaching. It's not even worth speaking. I'm at the point where I am going to embrace those that I am hearing. I would subscribe to this man, but I won't because it's finished. This man is not saying something I do not know. This man is not saying something that's revealing. It's just saying something that brings more comfort. And that's who Yah is. He's a comforter. And he brings that to you to comfort you, to let you know it's okay. You're going to endure, and I'm going to constantly see you through. And I got to walk therein. You all need to start. Also, if you have a relationship with him one-on-one, learn how to go into the closet and pray. If you go into the closet and he don't reveal himself to you as a higher in your messages, then therefore you are not in the closet of the Most High Yah. I'm gonna tell it. I don't know where that come from. That came straight out. That's not even a part of my message, but it is because that's what he had me to say. When you go into that closet, and that's in spirit and truth, that's between you and Yah. Cut everything else out. No music, no nothing but you and him. And you begin to speak to him and let him have his way. Because he don't want to talk to your nasty flesh. He don't want to talk to your flesh. He's trying to come in one with your spirit. Let him have it. Release. Tell your flesh to sit down and shut up and listen. And then when you come out, if you do not hear him tell you his name, then you really don't know his name. And this is what I was explaining to you all. As a little girl, I believed. As a little girl, I knew things that many are just now finding out. So therefore, I'm not going to run up in a man and ask him to teach me. Oh, tell me this and tell me that. Why? How can I override the spirit that has been with me for so long? So in Deuteronomy, and then he brought all these prophets from Deuteronomy. Just imagine how many thousands of years he kept sending prophets to fulfill even Deuteronomy 28, to warn you this is what's going to happen. Because if you don't do this, you don't do this. And guess what happened? If y'all don't feel sad for y'all don't feel some type of, I say, repentance in your heart from hearing what I'm about to say, something wrong with you anyway. And that is, if you take Deuteronomy 28, that was rest in Torah, and you take the year 2022, from that time on, he has always sung the witness, the prophets, to warn you all of what was coming. What was that he was warning? Do y'all know? You know, he's been warning to us since Torah, the curse. Ain't that sad? Well, wait a minute, Deborah. You stop that. He ain't been telling us that all them thousands of years. He's been warning about that same curse through all the prophets, letting them know this is going to come up on you. When we tell you how far he went back, it went farther than Deuteronomy. He knocked Abraham butt out to tell him that his seed is going to go into a land where they're going to be in that they never knew and that he never knew, and they're going to be in captivity. Way back in Abraham's bosom did he put that in there. So why are we to year 2022 ignorant as the day is short and long? How could that be? How could we get this message in Deuteronomy 28? 400 years in captivity. Here we are in 2022. We still talking this mumbo jumbo. You need a king. You need somebody to oversee you. You need somebody over your head. You got to dress this way, act this way, talk like this. When I first came onto YouTube, they was using the 10 Commandments and the 10 Commandments and the law like an iron claw. It wasn't a year later that they pulled away a little bit. Now they totally away from it. Because you know why they ran away from it and didn't open their mouth to spirit and truth? Because it wasn't what they said it was. And now you don't hear it like they used to. Everything, you got to follow the commandments. The commandments, every word was, the law and the commandments. They've been left that alone. They wore out Paul. They left Paul alone. Now they don't agree with Paul. They go into the consciousness mindset. And they taking your butt with them. And all this mess about what they're teaching about women, separating women and men. I see a man on there named Gino Jennings. He's sicker than sick can be and don't even know it. And you know what? I be trying to piece things together, try to say, I said, Father, how could you be that long on this platform, on this Deborah platform, that long, teaching the way that they teaching and what they teaching? He's hung over heels on baptism, being baptized. If somewhere this man has won millions of dollars selling that theory of being baptized, do you know there are people serving Yah that has never heard of baptism, that has never been baptized? Furthermore, baptizing is for the flesh. Going down in the water is for the flesh. It's a how would I say it? Like a third step. But the true baptism falls under the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. They can go down in their flesh dry and go down dry, come up a wet devil. What they say, go down a dry devil and come up a wet 100. And that's what's going on. He gets up here and he separates women and men. And what hurts is you try to, it don't hurt no more, but I'm just saying what hurts when I used to see him, he got more negative mindset against women that's off the chain. Where in the scriptures did Paul, Peter, Mark, Luke, John, James, and all of them talk the way these men are talking today? You won't find it. So why are you following them? Why are you putting them on pedestals? Why are you signing them over to the light? Why are you entertaining them? Why are you believing they are people from the Most High Yah? Anybody can get baptized. So he's getting wealthy through traveling, baptizing people. Baby, first of all, Sister Deborah would never suggested anybody go down in the water until they repent. Until they repent. Once you have take that nasty flesh in the, you see? Because going down in the water, a wet them, I mean a dry them and coming up a wet ain't gonna deliver you. Keep on waiting on. These men are teaching these men that women are likened to cattle. Women are worthless, but they didn't never understand. In the first chapter of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 26, in 27 and 28, he was talking to men and women and telling them what they're going to do together. Just because sin, listen to this, y'all. Listen to this, because he finna go there. He's going there. Just because sin hit the scene doesn't mean we hit the scene with sin. People didn't understand. It didn't take her out of the authority in which he created. He just said, now you have him to rule over you, but not rule over what I said it should be. See, he never told man to rule over woman over the things that I have charged her to do from the beginning. I told her to multiply. I told her to do everything I told you to do. Me changing it and saying rule wasn't taking away in what I said at the beginning, because that makes me a liar. So what y'all is saying, Deborah, you got to go back into Genesis and see where they lied on him. Even the word rule wasn't saying to be what you see these men are today or yesterday. That was sin that took them totally out of Yah's order. Even the order in which he charged in Genesis 1. He's saying, Deborah, I didn't tell them to do that. Didn't I tell her to work with him? They are as one working together. In Genesis 26, I created them and I spoke to them together as one, working together. Just because sin came, and he said, and it was said that ruler, he rules over her. That didn't make him a liar in Genesis 1. It just said now one is going to lead, but both of you all going to run this thing. So how did women get to the ground that low? How did she become the dirt? How did she become cattle? How did she become property? How did she become nothing worth? See, women don't understand. All that took place, a lot of it, and the reason why Yah's heart is really a comforter to a lot of women is because they took it in Genesis, what he said, and they misscrewed it and turned it in a way that, okay, woman is now cattle to you. You rule her like animals. You rule her like slaves. You rule her like property. You rule her, and she ain't good for nothing but letting you get your pleasure off and birth in the whole world. Do that make any sense? Ooh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. That don't even make any sense. See how we bent up everything he says right? We made it wrong, and we called it righteous. So they never did understand that when they left Genesis, they left it with their own mindset of how it's going to be. They took rule and overdone it. Well, Sister Deborah, you got to really think about what you're saying. Yeah, think about what I'm saying. Look what they're doing today. See, today is not a product of today and what's going on today. Today is a product of yesterday that was hidden. Okay? That which was in the dark shall come to the light in the last days. So this where people don't understand where he said knowledge shall increase. The light shall increase itself in the midst of darkness. Okay? So therefore, when you go to Genesis and you see Genesis 1, you got to take that whole Genesis 1. That alone should be able to build a foundation on everything else. But they took it and they took Genesis, what was it? 2, 3, and 4, because sin, no. What they did is once sin had hit, they took all the verses from that way on and went their way and took it and interpreted and misinterpreted and deceived the people. Why? Because sin had hit, evil. The devil took off running, and they went running right behind him. They went running right behind him. Listen what they talking about. They turned around. Let me show you how they did it. Remember, Adam said, "This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh." You know, sin was there, y'all. He was like, "Oh, boy, we one of a kind. We in this together. We two together." But the moment that sin hit, man went off like a fool and took on sin at its highest level in the year 2022. That's why their minds are all the way gone. It's gone. And it should be. Because if he had it in Torah that we will be in captivity and these things was going to take place, here it is in year 2022. You talking about thousands of years later. And he said, you're worse than your forefathers. So how did we get worse here than we were back there? Because that's how evil have gotten victory in our men. And that's why they can't lead their household. They find every just reason of why they can't go home, take care of their wives, take care of their bills, work, feed their children, be a leader in their household. It's because they found a way that if we can destroy the other half, then we become the better half. Wait a minute, Adam. Did you say flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones? Wasn't you happy then? See, he was happy as long as sin wasn't there. So Satan took man and he went running. And man went running as Satan ace. And he's been running since. Go back to Genesis. You'll see it. It's right there before your eyes. You think people want to hear that? No, it's finished. And that's why they can't hear it. That's why they won't hear it. That's why they won't listen to it. That's why they won't abide by it. Because they don't want to hear all that. They say, we got our own thing now. Yes, you do. And that's why hell has enlarged herself for all your wrong things. And if y'all ever decided to go back to during the time it was stated that hell has enlarged herself, you should see who it said it's for. See, the Hebrews ain't going to tell you that, are they? They ain't going to tell you. Go back and see why hell was enlarging. Go back. They ain't going to tell you that. Now, what happened? From the beginning all the way, Negro men been running rampant and ain't been following nothing. They were supposed to be the light to the world. Instead, you think these Negroes the light today? And you think because they in this land of captivity that they're not the light? Let me tell you, don't let nobody ever tell you you cannot uphold the light in captivity. That's the only thing he wanted you to uphold. That's why he put your butt over here in captivity, so you will run to the light and trust their head. But what did you do? You ran to the darkness. You ain't killing your brothers. You ain't raping your daughters. So I'm going to tell the truth. There's so many men, even from back then, even to today, going to be like the days of Noah. These men was taking as many wives as they pleased. They was raping and taking on all this here sexual lust. Y'all said, hold up. I know I began this, but this thing about to end. Bam. He saw all that. Because I'm like, why did you end it so early? He said, you got to go back and see. And when I went back and really digged in it, I was like, wow, they were cutting up from the floor like they doing today. Feasting, coming to gathering, and they thinking they doing it in his name. You can't gather in his name. You can't feast in his name. You can't have holidays in his name. You can't worship him in his name. You can't keep the Torah in his name. You can't honor him in his name. If you have not the Ruach HaKodesh, you are nothing to him. All this here role playing, that's what Sister Deborah used to say, clown clothes and role playing. Y'all might as well kick that mess to the curb. It's over. It's finished. Y'all been playing a long time. Just look back to Deuteronomy, way back in Torah. And here it is today. 2022. Dancing and cutting up from the floor, trying to look the role, trying to dress the role, trying to act the role, trying to talk the role. You know, when the devil platform hit, all of them went on playing the role. Devil said, let me put this album on. You know what they started doing? Be dancing to it. Well, how are you going to talk about the Christian church? You're doing the same thing and worse. Because this is the devil platform. Whether you want to accept it because you up on here and all up in it, it is what it is. So I'm going to drop that video. I'm gonna upload it so that you all can. It's a treat. It's a treat to every male and female, because a lot of males, they question also what is being said, but they feel comfortable accepting it because they are male. It's not what you accept because you are male. It's when you don't accept what is against your Father in the heaven. See, they think it's okay because I can agree with them because they male, we brothers, we can all make it like it. See, because they really think they're gonna control. They really want so much a control over something that the only one they feel they can get control over is woman. But when they break you, they make you. And that's what they have done. And that's why the women out here fighting, conducting themselves in all this manner. The way the women dress is the way the men desire them to dress. The men want the women to dress. These women are not going out there dressing the way that they dressing because this is what they want. They want the attention. They want what they cannot get and they cannot gain, which they looking for love. You reverse love is evil, and that's just it. They getting evil and they mistaking it for give and gave, which is who Yah is. Men ain't giving you and he ain't gave you nothing outside of a baby. And he ain't him to give. That's life of the Most High Yah. So men are running around here, ain't giving, ain't gave, ain't doing nothing but talking and belittling you and putting you as low as you can possibly. And you run around here dressing in a way you think is giving you attention. And what has happened is men never would do what they were supposed to do. They never did it. All you do is go back to Torah. That's when the statement to Abraham about them going into captivity. See, y'all knew it all the way back then. Y'all ain't gonna be worth a dime. You think it's 2002 where you're gonna awaken and you're gonna put on fringes and you're gonna come to the knowledge of something? Use a fool, use a fool, use a fool, because you're still in wicked and evil and in darkness. But the word says greater than what your forefathers were. So therefore, it's all role playing. Women, you don't need them to teach you. You don't need them. You don't need to be putting all your trust in them. You don't need to be running back behind them, sniffing them. Because right now, when I go into the store, if I didn't have the gift of discerning, I think I would be okay. I think I would really be okay. But because when I go into the store, men now think and feel or want women to want them. And to look at them, I make sure I look off this way. I don't even look their way. Because they think stomach always hitting the ground. Head look like somebody that whooped them all their life. Looking like who did it and what for. But yet they thinking all the women want them. You see the minds messed up? You see how their minds messed up? They don't care about getting on drugs and alcohol. And women running around here just wanting whatever they can to cover up what they think is love. But really what it is, it's both. Okay? Y'all ain't got no connection to your word love. Just like many other words that they took out and they added. Anytime somebody can take out a higher. Anytime somebody can take out Yahuwah or Yahuwah or Yah, anything, and place Jesus, the number one word was placed by Jesus. What makes you think they can place love? Have you following it, thinking you following something called love, and you can't even define it? You can't even define love. You have never had a man to love you if he haven't been a give and gave. That's why he said, love thy wife as Christ loved the church. What was the ultimate thing that Christ loved the church through? His whole life. He gave his life. Now, what man gonna do that? But if you gave his life, you can flip it in his natural life. He's given it to you to be there for you, to give you his time, to give you his ear, to give you advice, to give you. See, they don't see that. They want to run onto the word love, which means evil, backwards. It's amazing how the Hebrew men have taken out every word in the Bible that they want to replace Hebrew words. But the word love, the word Christ has not been looked into. It's so many other words that they have not even thought, because Yah has not given it to them. It was not for them to be given, for it to be given to. If you all go to Isaiah talks about it, where we are at as far as how he gonna deal with it. You know what's kind of scary too? Just like he said, Babylon has fallen. Guess what he said? Judah has fallen. It's in the Bible, in Isaiah 3, chapter 3, right before he says, and the children will be the oppressed of their parents. Okay, he was telling you about how they doing with Sodom, which is homosexual, and they all in the opening. You know who he talking about? He talking about men. Go back there and read it. Y'all read Isaiah 3. It don't matter. It's over. It's finished. So what I'm saying to you, if you ain't got spirit and truth in you, you ain't gonna get it. All you gonna get is a destroyed mind with no light. And that's it. See, Sister Deborah's gonna be destroyed, because I'm getting destroyed as I see things happening today. But I'm gonna be in the light in my spirit. You see? Which one are you? I'd like to say hello to everyone in the live chat. I appreciate each and every last one of you all who have tuned in. I'm going to upload also this man speaking, and it's going to do justice to your spirit. It's going to do, because just to hear him say it, it's no blinking, it's no bucking, it's no this. He just hit straight to the core. And me, myself, it's an hour and something, but you know what? I'm going to let it be a treat to me to just to sit down and hear his whole video, because I don't think I heard no more than probably if it's a half an hour. But I wanted to just share it with you all, and I'm gonna give his oh, I got to go back and find it. Ooh, I didn't even think of that. I have to go back and find. Oh, I think I can look for it. His title, and I'm gonna leave it in the box underneath the video, this here video, so you all can also go to his page and probably hear his whole, because I'm gonna do that tonight. That's gonna be like a treat for me, because it's to me, it's medicine to my spirit to know that I'm not in it alone, and that feels good. And because other day, y'all, every channel I go to hearing these sick men talk, I'm like, do they understand it's finished? That's why they talking like that, because it's finished. And the devil say, I got you now, I got you now. And a lot of people don't really understand that the Bible as we know it to be inspired, but we have to be able to understand what part is, and only one can inform us or let us know what is and what is not is through the Ruach HaKodesh. And he will teach you all things. So if you go into this book, how do you think Sister Deborah realized that there was no such thing as love? How do you think I realized, 60 years old now, I'm 60 years old. How did I realize that there was no such thing as love? And love is give and gave, and how you see where they put charity. The greatest is charity. Wait a minute. Why ain't the greatest love? It's something to think about. Because when you go back and you talk about the gifts and how if you don't have charity, then it's the greatest and you without. But then when you look up charity, you know that means giving and gave. You see? So it's so much in there, but only through the Ruach HaKodesh shall you find your way. You ain't going to find your way through all these people. No way in the world. And even those who said that they are prophetess and those who said that they are prophets, I'm going to tell you something. Through my journey from 4 to now to 60 years old, I have realized 99.9 are not and have not walked a half a mile with the Most High Yah. They haven't, because they have no message of spirit and truth. He said, you'll know them by their fruit. Hear me now. He said, you will know them by their fruit. Now, if you thinking like this ignorant man Dow's building, having these people follow him like a cult, it's 100%. If you thinking for 1 minute, not only him, many people think they subscribers in their life, it's the fruit. Baby, the fruit is spirit and truth. That's the fruit of the spirit. And another thing about it, it's going to remain the fruit of the spirit, but it is for the spirit. That's why many of them don't understand. Even that too can be miscrewed. It is the fruit of the spirit, of the spirit, of the spirit. So it's nothing on the outer man. So what is he saying, Deborah? Try the spirit by the spirit. And in that way, you will know the fruit